शुक्लाम्बरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुर्गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुस्साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। विधाय हृदि विश्वेशं विधाय गुरुवन्दनं बालानां सुखबोधाय क्रियते तर्कसङ्ग्रहः। चूर्णादि पिण्डीभाव
चूर्णादिपिण्डी भाव
हेतुर्गुणस्नेहः
sorry
Yeah.
I think
हेतुर्गुणस्नेहः
हेतुर्गुणस्नेहः
जलमात्रवृत्तिः
जलामात्रवृत्तिः
So sneha is that normally the word sneha means friendship, right? Sneha is one of the meanings of sneha is friendship. So it's nothing but that stickiness, that but essentially, mm, because of which the dry powder kind of elements get together, right? If you have mud, naturally mud, if it is dry, it is like powder. You cannot bring mud together and make it a ball, right? So in order to make it as a ball, you need water. And what is that element which is actually binding these elements together? So that is sneha.
In physics they say cohesive forces. Is it similar to that?
Yeah. So churna means what? It is powder. Okay. Pindi bhava. Pindi means what? Pindi bhava means coming together. So the reason, the cause for the separate particles to get together is sneha. Okay, because of which the powder becomes one ball kind of thing. And this is this guna. I mean, this guna is only in water. Jalamatra vrittihi. Do you have any problem with it only being in water? Practically.
No, Guruji, I think like when we discussed earlier, I think I've come to some understanding that when they mean water, when there are other substances that also has some tattva of water in it, which is why.
Yeah. So if at all you have to pour water, you pour ghee or you pour oil, also it becomes together. So therefore, there is some element of water in it, and because of that element of water in which it has sneha, so this is how logically it cannot be. Here we are not coming up from an empirical approach. So this is how it is. Then we have shabda. Shrotragráhyo guna shabdah.
Shrotragráhyo guna shabdah.
Akashamatra vrittihi.
Akashamatra vrittihi.
Sadvividha.
Sadvividah.
Dhvanyatmakah varnatmakascha.
Dhvanyatmakah
Varnatmakascha.
Dhvanyatmakascha.
Tatra dhvanyatmakah bheryadau.
Tatra dhvanyatmakah
bheryadau.
bheryadau.
Varnatmakah. Samskrita bhashadirupaha.
Samskrita bhashadirupaha.
So then shabda. Shabda, it's not only sound. So what is shabda essentially? Shrotragrahyaha gunaha. The guna which is known by the Shrotrendriya. That is Shabda. And this Shabda in Nyāya-Shastra is considered to be only in Akasha. So Akasha is everywhere, right? So therefore Shabda can be everywhere, right? So that is the place in which Shabda can be. And again, this is of two types. Varna, Varnatmaka and Dhvani. And so Shabda is of two types, Dhvani and Varna. So Dhvani is mere sound, only sound. So Tatra Dhvanyatmakaha, Bheri Yadav, Bheri, whatever, the drums and etc. Bheri is a drum. Okay. So precaution, instrument. And whatever instruments, the sound that comes from any instrument, musical instrument, you can call it as Dhvani. Even while we clap, while we shout, So essentially, that sound which doesn't carry any meaning in it. Even though there can be attested a meaning, but naturally it doesn't carry. The second one is Varnatmaka. Varna means alphabets. So the sound which is in the form of alphabets, which is Samskrita Bhasha Adirupa, all our languages that we have. So this is the broad classification. Then comes the main, important element from which the whole work actually branches out. Until now, it was linear. Like you had 7 padarthas, you have dravya, you had everything. So dravya, done, then you had guna. In guna, until now, it was like very systematically coming. But from here, it branches out to total, this thing. Sarva vyavahara hetuhu.
सर्वव्यवहारहेतुः
Guno buddhi jnanam.
गुणो बुद्धिर्ज्ञानं
Sadvividha.
साद्विविधा
Smritihi anubhavascha.
स्मृतिः अनुभवश्च
Samskara matrajanyam jnanam smritihi.
संस्कारमात्रजन्यं ज्ञानं स्मृतिः संस्कारमात्रजन्यं ज्ञानं स्मृतिः
Tadbhinnam jnanam anubhavaha.
तद्भिन्नं ज्ञानम्
Anubhavaha.
अनुभवः
Jnanam anubhavaha.
तद्भिन्नं ज्ञानम् अनुभवः
Sadvividha.
सद्विविधः
Yatharthaha ayatharthascha.
यथार्थः अयथार्थश्च
Tadvati tat prakarakaha anubhavaha yatharthaha. Tadvati
तद्वति
tat prakarakaha
तत्प्रकारकः
anubhavaha
अनुभवः
yatharthaha.
यथार्थः
We'll stop here. First we'll come. So what is Vyavahara? Do you remember? We had Vyavahara many times. Ekatvad Vyavahara Hetu Sankhya.
remember it coming. I don't remember the meaning.
So Vyavahara is nothing but actually the utterance of words, right? Jnana-janaka shabda prayoga. Okay. So it's one kind of saying that you using of words or communicating through words, right? So when can you actually express your thoughts. I mean, what is it that without which you cannot express your thought?
Consciousness and a mouth, an instrument.
No, nothing, not so abstract, very practical. You have to take a class. Just a second. So it's like, okay, can you explain, I mean, any concept in Jyotisha to me now?
No,
Why?
I don't have the knowledge.
Right?
Okay.
Okay.
Understood.
So if you have to express, if you have to tell anything to anyone, communicate anything, first you need to know. That is what is called as Artham Buddhva Shabda Rachana. So Artham Buddhva, only after knowing the meaning, you can actually express it. Right? So therefore, and also, if you want to take it a bit more general in the sense of the word Vyavahara, Vyavahara would be any matter regarding your life, in our day-to-day life, whatever it is. So if you actually try to introspect a bit, you realize that all your life is dependent on knowledge, right? Just a second. So essentially, all our decisions or whatever our day-to-day, not only decisions, even very, I mean, mundane practices, right? Like waking up, brushing your teeth. Why does a person with Alzheimer's cannot function on himself? I mean, by himself. Have you heard of Alzheimer's, right?
Yes. They.
Because of forgetfulness.
Yes.
So why are not they put their brush in their mouth and they forget to actually brush it? So that is how it is. Even I've seen a few people where you even try to feed them. They have their food in their mouth, but they forget to chew it. So even such mundane, day to day, what we consider to be, activities based on muscle memory cannot also be performed if you do not have knowledge. So essentially, knowledge is what is the base for all our functionality. Whatever if you have to function, without that we cannot actually function. So if you take that vyavahara to be in a more broader sense of your, day to day, even day to day or life changing or determining whatever decisions, everything is based on knowledge. You take your decisions based on your knowledge or logic or something. Everything is again coming back to knowledge, right? Everything is some sort of knowledge. So therefore, That is why the whole work now, it branches out into a whole big thing from knowledge, because that is the main core. Not that you need to define that a lot, right? And Tarkashastra is called Pramāṇa Shastra. So Pramāṇa is what? Pramāṇa is source of knowledge, source of valid knowledge. So therefore, the whole exploration of Pramāṇa and its types and etc. It's all done here. So therefore, what it is telling, the definition of jnanam is sarva vyavahara hetu. So it is the cause for all the vyavaharas. If you take it as vyavaharas to be conversations, then also vyavahara to be your day-to-day, functionalities also, it is again coming back to this particular guna, which is jnanam. Buddhi, jnanam, both are here used as synonyms. Okay. So this jnanam or buddhi is of two types: sadvidha, smritihi, anubhavascha. If we have to classify, one is smriti, that is remembrance, and one is anubhava, that is your experience. So smriti can only happen if there is anubhava. Without anubhava, there cannot be smriti, right? Because smriti is what? Remembrance. You can only remember that you have experienced. Experience in the sense, it's not only your sensory expression, experience, but whatever is not remembrance can be considered to be as anubhava. So here experience doesn't confine to only sensory experience. Okay. And what is smriti? Samskaramatrajanyam jnanam smritihi. So first, in order to see here, there will be a very good interplay of logic in writing also, right? So defining anubhava is simple if you can define what is smriti. So therefore, first smriti. If not in order, first comes anubhava, then smriti. But here they are taking first smriti and then anubhava. It is because once you define what is smriti, whatever is not smriti is anubhava. So it's easy. Whatever is not smriti is anubhava. That is the definition of anubhava. So therefore, the whole thing is importance of the definition of smriti arises. So therefore, smriti is being defined first. So that knowledge, which is born, which is because of only samskara. Samskara matra. Again, here there is a matra, like chakshur matra grahya guna. So what is samskara? Again, that is again another. So samskara is here. We are not taking this from anywhere else. Also in Yoga Shastra or in any other darshana also, when you hear the word samskara, it talks about a memory kind of a thing, right? It's kind of a memory, right? So here also it is like you do not remember everything every time, right? You remember certain things based on the need of that, right? So, right, you have a number of experiences from your childhood, but you do not remember everything every time, but you remember a very particular thing at a very particular time. Why? Because it has some ignition. Something has actually ignited this particular memory, because of which you are remembering a particular thing, right? So therefore, that means that, and even that the experience, without experience, there cannot be a remembrance. And that experience is short-lived. It is not there until you remember, right? You experienced many things. That experience is not existing now. So experience is short-lived. But the possibility of remembering things is every time open, right? You can remember, right? The possibility. So therefore, the cause, the crucial cause for remembrance is experience, which is short-lived. Whereas the remembrance is momentary and it is happening very dynamically. So therefore, this this whole, understanding gives us something that there is something in between that has all the data of your experience. So your experience is there in a dormant state. Hmm? Until being ignited, it doesn't get activated. Like a sleeper cell. It's there. Right? So that is called a samskara, which is also called as bhavana in Tarkashastra. Okay. So remembrance is that knowledge which is solely, born out of samskara. Okay. Nothing else, but only samskara. And there are other things which are called as udbodhaka. Udbodhaka is that which is the igniter. Right. So why do you, try to remember the answer of first question in an examination is because the question is your igniter. That ignites your samskara to remember the answer for that. So similarly, there are many other things, right? Many things that come to your mind because of a particular this thing. So therefore, this is what a smriti is all about. So this is samskara and smriti. So whenever smriti comes into place, we need to have anubhava, samskara, and smriti. So this is the order in which things happen. So once you know smriti, then what is anubhava? Anubhava is nothing but which is not smriti. Whatever is not smriti is anubhava. Okay.
So, sir, is Anubhava. So, Anubhava is not coming from samskaras, it's just your experience in this life.
Yeah. Anubhava is not coming from your samskaras. Anubhava is something that you are deriving for the first time, either through your sensory, organs, or through your logic, that is inference, or through similarity, or through someone is telling you something that you are knowing for the first time. So these are all anubhavas. Your, verbal testimony that I am now speaking, you are understanding something. So these are all anubhavas.
Okay.
Right? Yeah. If at all there is something that you haven't experienced in your life, so that is why this all Punarjanma thing also gets also very much logical. Right? You're remembering something, you're not trying to, you never know, you were not taught everything. You were not taught, you do have, people do say that, no, I was not taught, but still something is coming, like that kind of stuff. So there you say Purvajanma Samskara and all that, because that particular person could have been, gone through the whole subject or something in his somewhere, and it's there in the samskara which got ignited now. That's it.
Right.
Okay. So this is the classification, broad classification of knowledge.
Okay.
I think we'll stop here.